A man put his nephew in the grave for 15 days. You won't believe what happened to him. An amazing surprise. The following story is unbelievable but actually happened. It is a heartbreaking story that shows once again how close happiness and sorrow, joy and grief, and life and death are. The fate that this family has to bear is affecting and teaches us once again that we should enjoy every moment of our lives. But read for yourself. The young family could not be happier. From an early age, the husband and wife knew each other. The word sandbox love probably describes it best because the two spent a lot of time together as children. As they grew up, a feeling developed that was new and friendship turned into love. They had their first experience with each other, but it was more than just teen love. The two were made for each other. They complemented each other. One knew what the other was thinking, and only as a couple did they feel complete. It was clear to both that they were probably soulmates and no longer wanted to be without the other. It was the one, the true love. This love should be forever. The couple also wanted to seal this before God and the law. With all their loved ones, relatives, and friends, they celebrated a wedding marked by their undying love. Those who were at the celebration could testify that the deep feelings of the two were literally palpable. Life seemed perfect, but it didn't stay that way. Newly married, the couple moved into a shared cottage and enjoyed their togetherness. It was not long before the wife became pregnant. 9 months later, a daughter was born. This little bundle of joy turned two lovers into a family. 4 years and countless happy moments later, the woman announced to her sweetheart and daughter that she was pregnant again. The joy was boundless. The couple had been wishing for more children for a long time, and their little daughter couldn't wait for the arrival of her sibling. Happy, the parents looked into each other's eyes in the evening. They knew that their little one would be an especially good and proud big sister. It turned out that the woman was expecting a son. Her husband never found out. He had a fatal accident in the 3rd month of pregnancy. A tragic accident at work destroyed the family's happiness. The woman tried to focus on her daughter and the unborn baby. She did not want to give up. Her husband would have wanted that. She decided to be strong and to cope with the inconceivable blow of fate. Where she found the strength to do so, she often did not know herself. With tremendous will, she continued her life and prepared herself for the approaching birth. Her goal was always to maintain the happiness in her little family. Even though her partner was no longer there, she felt his love carrying her through the pregnancy. The birth date was getting closer and closer, and the woman was overcome by a strange feeling. Again and again, she dreamed of the angel of death, who would take her to himself. When the contractions began, the young woman was taken to the hospital. After a few hours, the boy saw the light of day. But complications arose during the birth. Although the doctors tried everything, the young woman could not be saved. The young woman's brother took the 4-year-old daughter and the newborn to himself and had his sister buried. His wife became angry. She scolded and cursed, for she hated her sister-in-law's children. She herself had no children, although she had wanted so much to become a mother. She had tried everything possible, but pregnancy never wanted to happen. Her husband affirmed that he would love her even if she did not have children, but the woman did not want to believe this. She did not feel complete. She felt like a half-woman who could not fulfill her husband's wish for a child. She had enviously observed the happiness of her sister-in-law. When her sister-in-law joyfully told her about the second pregnancy, it felt like someone had plunged a knife right through her heart. She was not even allowed to have a single child, and her sister-in-law, who already had everything one could wish for, was now expecting a baby for the second time. She did not want to spend an hour with the children in the same house. Finally, she presented her husband with a decision, an ultimatum. Either the children would leave the house immediately or she would leave. The husband didn't hesitate for a second. He knew what he had to do. At night, he took the children to their mother's grave. He opened the grave and laid the newborn on the body of his sister. But the girl cried bitterly. She was terribly afraid of the dark cave. The little girl begged that her uncle would take her home again. She pleaded and howled. Then the man gave her a rattle and said, "Take good care of your little brother. When he cries, rattle this. This will calm him down." The uncle promised to come back to the grave every day and bring food for his niece. Then he closed the grave again and went home to his wife. He nodded to her, indicating that the matter was settled. She did not ask what had happened to the children. She probably did not even care. All that mattered to her was that the children would never return to them. Another woman's children. Children she herself could have loved so much and had been denied. She had a heart of stone, and her husband was no better. He left the two children in the complete darkness on their own with the dead body of their mother. He would not keep his promise to bring food every day. He had never intended to. He was aware that fate would take its course, but he did not care. He went to bed and was soon fast asleep. The next morning, an old man passed the young woman's grave. He froze when he heard a strange noise coming from the grave. It sounded like a rattle. The old man became frightened and quickly moved on. What on earth had he heard? The next day, he passed by the grave, and again he heard the same sounds. With a queasy feeling, he left the creepy place. He had no explanation for this rattling. Although he thought back and forth, pondered and studied, there was nothing that seemed logical to him. The old man avoided the cemetery for 15 days, did not walk the path he had usually walked to his wife's grave. On the 16th day, as he passed the grave of the young woman, he heard the rattling again. This time, the old man did not run away. No. He told some men who were standing nearby about the strange noises. At first, they thought the old man was playing them for fools, but then they accompanied him, and they too heard the rattling. Joining forces, they opened the grave and found the body of the dead woman. On top of her lay her newborn baby. Next to the mother lay the little girl, her whole body trembling. The men took the children out of the grave. Immediately, an ambulance was called to take them to the nearest hospital. The children were slightly hypothermic and weakened. Nothing else was wrong with them, as the examination revealed. The police began an investigation. The prosecutor's office and forensic medicine were also called in. When the girl had recovered somewhat and regained her strength, she was questioned by two police officers. What the girl told them was simply unbelievable. When the baby cried, the girl rattled the rattle to soothe it. The mother sat up, took care of the newborn, and then lay back down to continue sleeping. The girl told about an uncle she did not know. He was dressed all in white and brought the little girl food when she was hungry and drink when she was thirsty. No sooner had he brought her something that he disappeared. Neither the police nor the doctors nor the lawyers could explain what had gone on in the grave. The children were in amazingly good condition, considering that they could not have had food for 15 days. How on earth had they survived? Both children did not seem to have lacked food during their time in the grave. They were weak, but not malnourished or dehydrated. The medical examiner also made a strange discovery. He examined the woman's body and found that it was warm. The dead body had the same temperature as that of a living person. In his files, the coroner noted that the body was not the same condition as it should have been 20 days after being buried. It seemed like a miracle to everyone. A warrant was immediately issued for the arrest of the children's uncle. He was arrested and charged with the attempted murder of his dead sister's children. The man pleaded guilty. The children, who were doomed to die and were miraculously saved, now live with their late father's sister and are part of a large, very happy family. Who do you think the uncle is who brought the girl food and drink? Do you have a logical explanation for this miraculous rescue? Or do you also believe in a miracle? We look forward to reading your comments below.